There's one
It's just organisation, isn't it?
Maximisation of profit.
Of profit, yeah, sorry.
So there's a big organisation that provides your food, right? And they're going, right, we need to short, medium, long term look at how do we maximize this. And all right, in the short term we are worth 50 billion and we're moving into this area that there's, the most valuable business there is worth 100,000. We're going to buy half of them that want to sell for a decent price, and we'll drop the prices on everyone else, drive them out of business. Yeah. All right, now these people belong to us.
That's right.
Now it's a question. They need to live. Food isn't exactly flexible.
Yes, that's right.
So balls.
It will literally. They will, milk it, price up. If local vendors start popping up, they'll drop prices on certain items to make them unviable and whatever, buy them out.
Exactly.
I think, big part of the product of why the world is fucked, of why so many people are starving when so little resources would solve the problem, is the fact that what does a human being need to live? We need shelter, food, water.
And
now, you got to understand, where do these things come from? Most of our food comes from giant corporations which own giant farms and supermarket chains, and most of the buildings we live in are again built by big construction companies, and all of them have a goal of maximizing profit. So in a sense, we're constantly channeling resources towards these corporate tyrannies that are out to exploit us as best as they possibly can. And we do that.
You put it like that. Yes, definitely. That's a fact. Yeah, absolutely.
And the choice is there, and the margins aren't that big. I'm sure you've found your local farmers market, and you've realized, I'm paying 15-20% extra.
Yeah.
But
not even like some of the local farm share. What's it called? You might know. The farm share sort of things where you subscribe to a local farmer in your nearby area and he can deliver it to you, or you meet them on every Saturday morning in a nearby neighbourhood, and you get to meet the farmer, have a chat with them, and you buy the product from them, and it ends up being cheaper because all the middlemen's cut out. So it doesn't have to be.
Is that a fact?
Yeah, no, that's available. I've been trying to research it so we can do it. I saw one in Werribee. There's on the outskirts of Melbourne. There's obviously no farms here, so you have to look for sources that are out there. But then they come to the city and they sell. There's lots of them, thousands of them in Australia. I was reading in the book food.
Well, that's very interesting. You should look into
I told you about it. I said we should get our veggies from there. I haven't as yet found somewhere yet, but
you're right. Okay, now that we've seen touched on the problem, what solution would you offer to something like that? Because I believe there is I can't see a future successfully working with government. That's because we've given it a good shot, and it doesn't seem to be really working in the favour of humanity as a whole.
But you need people to make decisions.
No, look, I'll how do you? How do you? Look, I've been.
Can you organise shit?
No. I don't know. Have you travelled much? Sure.
Yeah, I have. I've been.
Right. I've been to a number of third world countries. Australia is one of the most livable countries. You've got to look. You've got to look into things in perspective of other places. Now, let's say government. Now, do I agree that government does a lot of harm? Absolutely. It's the construct is built, on forced extraction of resources for everyone, and then the small number of people managing them.
Yep.
Sometimes their legitimacy is somewhat existent by voting, and other times the whole game is rigged.
Absolutely.
In America, the whole game is rigged, and here it's just mostly rigged, but it's not entirely.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to get to the crux of my point. If you didn't have government tomorrow, things would go nuts. It would be terrible. We'd live in hell.
Absolutely.
But can you obsolete the government? I say absolutely, hell yes. And here, you asked for the solution. I think I have something to kind of suggest in that regard.
Please, for the listeners, they need to know. They're sitting on the edge of their seats.
Especially from last night's podcast.
Oh man, we did one.
Freaked everyone out.
We did a podcast last time, and it was fucking, hell is coming, and Satan is here. This is that now. But anyway, continue.
I personally think that our economic and political and the geopolitics wars, it's so much more nefarious than anyone thinks. I think the world's, terrible. But I personally, despite of all of that, I really think that we're almost odds on to get out of everything in one piece, and things are going to get better. And here's why. All right, go back to the basic human needs. If a human being, you need what? Water, you need shelter, you need food, you need
and a place
power,
to express yourself.
You need power. Well, that's the thing these days. You need power,
We get these, we've already agreed, we get all of these from giant corporations. We get all of these from giant corporations that are out to basically milk us for every cent that we have.
Absolutely.
And sometimes sometimes we don't get milked. Sometimes there's genuinely competition between corporations, but the trend is always to consolidation and cartelism.
Yes.
So the notion, we never had free market capitalism. Well, free market capitalism leads to cartels. It's just like a matter of freaking time.
Definitely.
Now, you need to start helping people provide these things for themselves. And I'm talking about open source technologies. Solar panels. They're getting cheaper. It's now $1 a watt.
Yeah.
When it gets 50 cents a watt, buying electricity from, whatever, Red Energy or whatever you're buying electricity from any kind of giant corporation is no longer viable. Now we're about 5 or 6 years away from that,
Okay.
And all of a sudden, every, doofus will be able to put 3 kilowatt solar panels on their roof or whatever, in their balcony in front of the yard, hang them off somewhere, and with a couple of truck batteries, there you go. You've got power.
Yes.
Now that they've been cut out. See, we're talking about
that's
these,
huge.
We're talking, these giant corporations that exploit us.
Yeah.
You can make them obsolete. There's a guy, the Earthship guy. I'm sure you've seen the Earthships and the sustainable houses built out of tires. Now, the average Joe pays 80, 90, 100 grand to build a house.
Yes. Yeah.
You could build a pretty decent dwelling with, a bit more human labor for about 25, 30 grand. That's got way better insulation.
Definitely.
This is
this
is what these Earthships cost. So where am I going with
But
this?
the thing about
So you got so that's a power situation. But when
the whole question really is, we do gain a lot by letting some people specialise in certain things and doing that for us, because that's why we've got what we are now.
Yeah.
Because we've all outsourced all the things that we need in life so that someone else can do it for us, so we have time to free up to do other things. And I can't imagine that, I think what you're saying is great, and in any aspect that we can, we should do it. And
here's why it's
provide for
possible.
ourselves, but
Here's
some
why
of
it's
the things
possible.
that we're not going to be able to do, I just don't want to make my own iPhone.
No, I don't.
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
no.
That's a stupid example, but
I don't suggest.
How are we going to?
I don't suggest you make your own iPhone.
Are you just talking about essentials, life essentials?
Yeah. Firstly, you got to take care of the essentials. They're the reason why some people are starving.
Oh, sure.
That's so rude. I can't believe it.
My car.
No, it's not.
But
Yeah.
so we're talking about, there is an advantage to everybody specializing. All right,
Yeah.
but I don't disagree that there is an advantage to everyone specializing. But does that mean that we need to have, in order to have TVs, you need to have a Sony company, a multi-billion giant organization?
Yeah.
No,
No, not
you
at
don't.
all.
That doesn't mean that.
In order to what's happening with TVs at the moment, I don't know what else we can do with the fucking rectangle, all right?
Yeah.
But we're getting there, whatever we can do to make it thinner, lighter, fucking better picture. Our eyes are only so good, you know what I mean? But continue, yeah?
So Tess, I'm about to lay out the argument against this need for
big.
Specialization is necessary. I agree. But it doesn't follow that because we need to specialize, we need giant corporations to specialize in certain things.
Okay.
Now, Firstly, I gave the example of TVs. If we have TVs, do we have to have a Sony? Well, 20 years ago, yes. But see, the machines, the technology is getting smaller, cheaper, more modular. So, to make a TV for, 10% of a monthly salary, whatever, $300. Before, you needed a factory that's 200 meters across, a giant production line, robots that are 5 meters tall.
Yeah.
Well, no longer do you need that, because now the robots that do it are about 5 times cheaper, about 5 times smaller, and the production lines can be. There are thousands of companies around the world that just manufacture little components,
tiny bits, and then they just
so that you don't need. You have one company literally manufacturing nothing, and then they could have 10 employees, and they could provide 10 million whatever what do you call them? LCD screens or LED screens.
Yeah.
So you get your screens out of somewhere. There's a kitty cat.
Yeah.
The frame of that TV is injection molded. There's people that do injection molding. So quite literally, to get 1,000 TVs, all it takes is one dude sitting in Melbourne, getting a couple of quotes from people, designing something that is going to work together, going online and says, hey, look, this is what I designed, and I have a track record, this is going to fit, and you're going to get it. And all of a sudden, the production run no longer needs to be 50,000 or 100,000 TVs. You can make 800.
So you're saying that you've got like sort of factories or whatever production places situated around where people might specialise in making this particular part, and if you want something made, you tell them you design, they sort of make it up custom made.
Absolutely. It's got 3 words. First, the price. The technology that manufactures stuff is getting cheaper. Secondly, there is a trend towards modularity, meaning that your Sony monitor and your LG monitor and your Samsung have exactly the same screen made in the same factory in Taiwan that does nothing but LCD screens, and it's a small factory. So much of our technology, so much of what we do is being literally assembled from individual suppliers that specialize in one little part, and no longer do you need a giant. So now we can have 10,000 different TV makers that design to their own specifications, and they put it together like Lego blocks.
Yep, I understand. What about well done, Sean. Will you still have competition between each manufacturer in their particular specialty?
Absolutely.
And will it be a sort of thing where maybe you will? Is there a way that we can avoid new technologies being suppressed because of competition, or the whole point of how most products are just simply not the best they could be because of the competitiveness? I mean, we haven't touched on the big thing. You were talking copyright and the patent system. Yeah. See, I find it so weird how who was it that brought this up? They said that when you are born, you've got a TV in your life. You didn't create that idea. You didn't, you didn't invent that, but yet you've been given it for free. So why you've been given these ideas that you've been lucky enough to inherit for free, and why should companies own these ideas and be the ones controlling them?
Profit. It's simple. I mean, when they came up with the patent law, they called it monopoly grant.
Yeah.
They were granting companies monopoly on an idea. But see, monopoly is a dirty word, and that's why they invented the word patent. Now, when we touched on something, we're talking about technology. Here's the thing. I've started a small company that's developing products. Our first product is a fluoride filter. It's called Integrated Nature.
Oh my God!
Can we please buy that?
Oh my God! We will be your first customers. So you see that thing on our tap? It doesn't get rid of fluoride, but we can't use anything without it now.
Basically, this was developed by a friend of mine, and because I was developing a site, I'm working on automatic irrigation devices.
But
The
hang
thing
on.
that are gonna.
Isn't it fucked up that you've had to do this instead of just go to the source and tell the government to stop fucking putting fluoride in our water?
I know it's fucked, but anyway, let me continue.
Thanks for people like you.
Let me continue kind of with the